HPE Supercomputing Management Software, Composable, or SUM's Composable, is the missing layer between traditional system management and tenant workload software. It gives an infrastructure administrator the ability to slice up the system across compute, network, and storage, and then assign those slices to tenants, who can then run both HPC and AI workloads on their allocated resources. We call those slices islands, and they let the administrator tune how hard or soft the tenancy boundary should be. SUM's Composable sits on top of the HPE Supercomputing Management Software Foundation, used for traditional system management functionalities, and integrates directly into Morpheus for enterprise controls such as role-based access control, single sign-on, and self-service provisioning. The workflow is simple. First, an infrastructure administrator creates an island, choosing compute and service nodes, setting network and storage partitions, and assigning tenants. The next step is optional. A tenant administrator can create a Kubernetes or Slurm cluster on top of their assigned island if they'd like to customize the environment. Finally, tenant users deploy their workloads, such as containers, virtual machines, or jobs. A Morpheus-based user experience simplifies the creation of islands, clusters, and workloads, providing flexible configuration options for infrastructure administrators and a streamlined experience for tenants. SUM's Composable supports a full spectrum of multi-tenancy. On the left, antagonistic tenants, like Coke and Pepsi, would want their own dedicated islands with dedicated compute, network partitions, and storage partitions. This gives them the strongest infrastructure isolation and quality of service. In the middle, trusted independent tenants, like Coke and Sprite, might want to share resources on an island or the entire island itself. On the right, project-based or collaborative tenants share a workload cluster partitioned by Kubernetes namespaces or Slurm partitions, giving them the best infrastructure utilization. Let's demonstrate each of these. Let's look at what it looks like to actually use SUM's Composable. I'm logged in as an infrastructure administrator. Under Infrastructure, Clusters, I'll create a new island for Pepsi. This is where the composability concept shines. For each layer in the stack, management network, high-speed network, utility storage, I can create a dedicated partition or reuse existing ones from other islands. Extensibility is also key. Each layer can evolve independently. For instance, the high-speed network can be InfiniBand today and Slingshot tomorrow. For Pepsi, I'll keep all these settings on auto, allowing fully dedicated partitions to be created. I'll then select a compute node with an NVIDIA H100 GPU and initiate provisioning. Pepsi Island has finished provisioning. The cluster history shows the lifecycle steps: management network provisioning, high-speed network provisioning, storage setup, and compute node enrollment. Under Actions, Permissions, I assign the Pepsi tenant. Now Pepsi has its own dedicated infrastructure, isolated down to bare metal nodes, switch-enforced network traffic, and dedicated storage. Let's confirm. Logged in as the Pepsi tenant, when I go to create an instance, the only resource pool available is the Pepsi island. Pepsi cannot see Coke's infrastructure. That's hard multi-tenancy. Now let's look at soft multi-tenancy. Here's the Coke island. Under Actions, Permissions, both Coke and Sprite are assigned. They share the underlying infrastructure while maintaining private visibility of their own workloads. As the Coke tenant, I'm going to create a Kubernetes cluster on this island to run AI workloads. I select the Kubernetes cluster, choose the Coke island, and continue. Notice that the only island available to me is Coke Island. That's the role-based access control enforcement in action. On the worker configuration, I choose Compute Workers. These are high-performance, low-overhead virtual machines with GPU pass-through, giving near bare-metal performance for training and inference. The cluster has been provisioned. SUM's Composable synchronizes Kubernetes resources, pods, deployments, services into Morpheus for visibility and management. But we don't just want to manage clusters, we want to run workloads. Under Provisioning, Apps, I've deployed an Open Web UI plus Ollama blueprint. This setup features a billion-parameter AI model executing across a full hardware and software stack, starting from GPU-backed container, running inside a high-performance virtual machine, all on a GPU-capable bare-metal server. Supporting the entire stack, from hardware infrastructure to AI application, is a key focus of SUM's Composable. Now, from Sprite's perspective, Sprite shares the same island as Coke, but doesn't see Coke's clusters. I'll create a basic Ubuntu instance. The only resource pool available is Coke Island, matching the permissions we've configured. Sprite can consume shared island resources, but only sees what it's been explicitly granted. That's soft multi-tenancy, shared resources, private visibility. The last mode is the softest form of multi-tenancy, namespace-level isolation within a shared Kubernetes cluster. As an infrastructure administrator, I've created a shared cluster called Coke Sprite Shared Kubernetes on the Coke Island. Under the cluster's access settings, you can see two namespaces, one assigned to Coke and one assigned to Sprite. You could also create a shared namespace for common services such as an OCI registry. This is the softest form of multi-tenancy. Two tenants sharing the same cluster, scoped to their own namespaces. Or even sharing a Slurm partition for HPC workloads. As the Coke tenant, I can create a container workload. In the target selection, I can see the shared cluster along with my dedicated clusters. I deploy Nginx into my namespace. Likewise, Sprite tenants can also deploy workloads into the shared cluster without seeing Coke's dedicated clusters. That's the final layer. A tenant doesn't need access to an entire cluster. SUM's Composable can allocate just a namespace to a tenant. To recap, SUM's Composable offers the full spectrum of multi-tenancy, from hard isolation on dedicated hardware to lightweight namespace sharing on a common cluster. The platform supports both infrastructure administrator control and tenant self-service, delivering real workloads, AI, HPC, and everything in between. Thanks for watching.